Hi guys, FrostFangs here, back with the Paladins video, playing some Moji today, of course, on the new update. Didn't get to play the PTS this time around, but a bunch of stuff is very different. Ignore the T-posing Bomb King there. I'll get to that at some point, sometime soon. Definitely keep an eye on the channel because I have a bunch of videos coming on all the stuff from the new update, but the focus for today is on Moji, who is now a support, of course, from the flanking role she was in before. Very unique. She's kind of closest to Pippa to give you a comparison, but from what I played one game and I messed around in target practice. She doesn't really play like any of the other supports. I'll also cover the two new skins that she's got, Akazukin and Red Riding. The talents are super simple, but the way they've chosen to sort of move her kit around is a little bit weird. She feels a little bit jank at the moment, just with the way they've balanced certain stuff, but yeah, Realm Runner is basically 2. Jubilation is just old damage Moji and means you heal less. It's kind of the damage talent, and Spit Shine will be the default support one, which makes your left click heal, and also speed buff. Then the Q and the F, which I'm a little bit less convinced on, quite a bit different. The Q isn't immediate anymore. Instead, it's just a shield for you and your friendlies. It is a little bit jank, and the F is basically General F because you can run around forever and cancel it whenever you want, but it does have 4 seconds on the cooldown. A little bit weird, but yeah, the ultimate is also pretty much the exact same. Self-heal was the thing I thought was going to be a problem, but she generates self-heal from stacking on friendlies, so you get super free, really quite strong self-heal in your kit by default. The build is also a little bit odd, and there isn't too much you can really do for Moji. I thought they were going to change their cards a lot more than they actually did, because a lot of these don't really feel like they'd be that useful or that strong, but reducing the self-slow is kind of new. It's pretty decent, helps you glide around if you like it. If not, there's another variant over here, just health instead. A movement speed buff on the right click for your friendlies though is super useful, and also on the left click, so you buff your speed out for your team quite a bit. And yeah, increasing the capacity for your right click. I don't really know what else you would really want to do here, but yeah, this is what worked best for me. Like I said, I'm playing around it a little bit already. Alright, so for game 1, Onslaught Primal Court should be the perfect map for it. We've got a Khan, Tyra, Vatu, and Koga. I think she will struggle a little bit on the more sort of long sieges because you have to be very close to get sort of consistent heals and stuff. She's a very unique sort of healer, like I said. We're up against Omen, Azan, Moji, going for Spit Shine, and then the full speed set, which I think makes the most sense. We can like glide around and not slowed from the right click, but as you can sort of see here, you want to stack your friendlies and then left click for the detonate heal, and it does go through people, so the left click, I don't know if it stops on enemies, but it does go through friendlies, so you can kind of play a little bit behind your team. Kind of hard for me to properly explain it, but yeah, you do want to position yourself very differently than I think you would usually do with a lot of other healers. But yeah, general sort of idea. There's a bit of the meter and the effects. The effects are different than I was expecting them to be, but I don't really know why I thought they would be red. Don't really know what we're doing here, but I did get a big heal to the Khan. There's some big heals to Tyra. I think early game her heals are kind of insane. It is a little bit difficult to get heals to people when they're behind walls, going to run from the enemy Moji, but also people are moving a ton. It can be kind of tough. Shouts Khan for the heal will try and drop down here and give him a hand. This is a bit messy of a support and a little bit less methodical than I think a lot of people would like. The Q doesn't give me immunity anymore. I don't know why I'm staying in it. The shield gen you get after the initial burst isn't that crazy, but pop the Q here, give people a bit of a shield. But the actual healing numbers you have, I think, are pretty damn crazy, but obviously you have to be very close for that to work like that. The emoji's kind of playing like a damage. I didn't see the talents or anything because I was just trying to get this going. There's big heals. You should just be spamming the left click even if you're not right clicking, by the way, which is I think the right way to use it. Just more big heals. You're not really seeing it, but we're also speed buffing a ton. You just want to be sort of spamming the kit all the time like you usually are with support, but I think tapping the left clicks for the speed buffs and also because they deal a bit of damage is the way to go, and then mixing in the right clicks and doing a sort of combo like this. Like I said, you have more self-sustain than I thought you would have. He just survived an ult from Omen. There's a Q. Walls do interact a little bit strange with it. Like I said, the Q and the F are the weirdest parts right now, but the actual base healing part of her kit, I do like a ton. That's a Khan going for an ult. Sure, it's going to try and keep him alive. I'm just locked in here trying to play Moji. Just very different. It's taken me a minute, but also just being able to run around with the F, the Q being a shield. I just need to fully adapt to the way she works now. She's very fun though, and like I said, it fits her way better than I kind of thought it would. Let's get heals here to the Vatu. There's just a lot of effects on screen when you've got your left click, right click both going out and you're just trying to heal people. Definitely a little bit messy would be the way to describe it, because she is sort of the healer when you're meant to be super close, and Pip is the closest comparison I've got, but that isn't really that close. Definitely not going to be shifting too much into trying to deal damage when you're running a full setup like this, because we're running the full healer thing. If I go for damage, which maybe we'll do for game 2, I'll do it for a separate video. You can definitely hybrid a lot more, but she's clearly meant to be a hybrid healer just in general. You just provide such insane healing and speed buffs to the team that I feel like it's more value to just focus on buffing people out and getting consistent heals and stuff. My commentary is so cooked today, but we nearly got rid of the IO. Somehow she didn't die. The damage on the right click is really low when you're pinning enemies. Let's go for armor plating, max, and full nimble. Sure, that's my first death. Of course, this is Paladin, so there is a lot of jank. For some reason, when I hold tab, there's just a message ID not found, and yeah, BK T-poses on the cover screen, and a bunch of other just general Paladin stuff. I'm just spamming the entire kit. We do get self-heal from that combo. There's a big heal. He is still up. The healing numbers, like I said, are kind of crazy. There's the Q. When you're really close to people and you're just stacking them, especially when they're grouped, because you kind of have built-in boom, which is, like I said, the way you get your self-heal. It's kind of ridiculous. I'm not really showing it off too well because I've just run out of meter. Don't know what's going on and how it went downhill so fast, but Koga doesn't have a talent. I don't really know why. I can't even like hover over it to see anything. And the other thing I wanted to point out is you can't stack on enemies at all with the right click if you're going for like the healer. So you have to go for the talent to play hybrid Moji really. Otherwise you're not really doing very much. You can defend yourself a little bit, but nowhere near as much as you can if you go for like damage thing. You don't want to heal on the left click, but I don't know if I'd recommend it. I'm dead here, by the way. Just going to try and wiggle around a little bit. Yeah, there's no shot I'm doing anything here. Maybe we go for like an ultimate play. There's one on the Moji. There's a little look at the cookie. It is different. I couldn't really tell what the effect was on it. Don't know what the hell this game is. It's a scuffed one, but I think we're going to have a pretty decent heal number. It's not going to be particularly difficult to do, I don't think. Can we jump away from this Moji? She actually got me there, even though I was above the little thing. Fair enough. We're winning, though. Somehow, we managed to keep a bit of a lead. Super messy and hectic, which I think is the way it's going to work most of the time when you're playing like a healer Moji setup, just because of the way she works. I mean, inherently, you're speed buffing so much, and you're trying to stack, and you're kind of being in the middle of all the mess, whilst also healing and dealing a little bit of damage. I don't know how else to explain what I mean, but your numbers are pretty good. Like the actual just raw healing output, even though, like I said, on Siege I think she's going to have a bit of a hard time. We're also buffing out our meter a ton and we're still running low on it. Kind of hard to say how much more she needs to be tweaked, but yeah, a lot of it does feel already really quite good, and I'm interested to see what they do with it in like the next patch or two. I should be stacking on my friendlies more, just like preemptively, and then detonating like when the fight starts, which is not what I'm doing so far, and just trying to time it, I guess, a little bit. But yeah, it's just too hectic to really play other than just normal Moji trying to blast your friendlies as she was before is the best way I can put it. And your Q not being immunity, you don't really have like a free time ability. Your Q is kind of a shield, but yeah, not really the same sort of thing. The F being kind of general movement is usually going to be, I think, quite useful, but on a map like this, we're never really going to need it unless we're trying to like juke or something. I'm just going to focus on heals, get this Khan, like zooming around. That's a Victor ult. He can easily tank that without much trouble. We'll just keep left clicking through. And there is the victory, I think. Did I go to time? I wasn't paying enough attention, but support Moji, as messy as she is and the way that she kind of works, is really good fun. I think it does fit her. I'm going to miss Flank Moji a little bit for sure, because it's definitely going to be different even if I do go for the full damage setup. But she does work as a healer, as you can sort of see there, 115k. Considering how messy I was playing, I'm happy with that. 24k shielding on top of that, yeah, I'll take it. Koga had a bit of a hard time, I'm not really sure what's going on. Tyra struggled a little bit too. Vatu and the Khan were doing solid though. Their team was also just as messy, so I don't really know what else I can point out. Would Riku. One more thing I want to point out is that damage talent at the moment feels kind of weird. I get that they're trying to make it old Moji and kind of like how damage pip works, but especially because of the way they've tuned her kit, I feel like she is really targeted to being more of a healer now, and that's sort of a second option. I did grab the skin with a skin booster, but it doesn't seem to have worked. Either or it's bugged. I'm not sure. TDM Trade District, Ceres 4, Term, Tyra. Never mind, I guess I do have them out, but not the Moji skin, even though I picked both. I'm like 90% sure. We'll go for double nimble. He's going for speed turn. We should be able to buff him out here a ton. We're giving 20% speed buff with the left click, and then yeah, 20% with the right click too. So if we spam both of them, they are going to be zooming, and that's kind of the way you want to do it. You want to stack up the right click, leave it for a little bit, and then try and time it, and also not die. She's definitely still a tanky healer, and you can Q for the shielding. That's kind of the way I think you're going to use it, is when she's like sort of, you know, got everybody full and you pop the Q to give even more of a shield. She's definitely providing a lot of value to the team with the setup that we're running at the moment. Definitely can be sort of a pocket healer for a tank. There's a Q. How am I not dead yet? I don't know. The other left click, we're also getting some kills just by like passively hitting people who are behind the person we're trying to heal, which is what I said at the start of the last match as another example of it. Having a bit of a hard time sort of, you know, finalizing and wording what I'm trying to say, but she definitely already has a spot. I think they might want to tweak her a little bit more from where she is, but she definitely isn't weak. I don't think you could call her a weak champion for the scenarios that she does good in, which is sort of the hectic, you know, sort of close fights like this one and like the last game. She really is putting in work. There's a Q. Everybody I think should be fine. There's a heal on the Ceres, heal for the Tyra. Her numbers are just kind of crazy when you're actually stacking and landing it, which is the important part. Unlike what I just did there. That's a Pip ultimate. We're fine though. Self-heal goes kind of crazy. Just the area heal when you're fully stacked on your friendlies is kind of massive, but you'd have to play the meter. And again, we've got a full setup here buffing out the healer thing. We're doing very little damage compared to Moji before, so it's a hell of a trade-off, but it does work, especially with a character like Term, where I think it's kind of a perfect combo for this because of the speed buffs and stuff. There's another group heal. I missed the left click. You do also have to be accurate. Commentary in this one's kind of scuffed. I'm trying to deal with Moji here. I keep thinking the Q's immune even though they changed it. Let's go for an ultimate heal in the sky. That didn't get it for some reason. The other way I could see people playing it, and this is what I was trying to say before I cut myself off earlier, is with Toot and then just constantly spamming the F. Even though you wouldn't have your escape anymore, you would be leaving a pool of healing. Don't know if it affects you. That might be a way to play it, but I think for a team like this, Spitshine makes more sense anyway because of the speed buff. And yeah, more healing, hoping what I said there just made some sense. But yeah, just get some more big group heals. That is really the way to pop it. As you can see there, we can easily keep people up even if they're just tanking Drogo shots to the face. That's a Pip ultimate. Played very awkwardly today, which is to be expected. It's my first games with Moji as a support, other than the literal one I played before this video, just to make sure I knew how everything worked and yeah, messing around with the target practice and stuff. The build is working. I don't know if I would recommend removing the speed buff on the right click because it isn't that crazy, but I don't know really what else you'd want to put in there at the moment. Like I said, our cards are a strange collection. Pop the F and run towards the term. I think I might be dead. I'm just going to keep running, sort of the same speed as being mounted up. There's more heals here on the term. There we go. Try and get the meter up a little bit. Hello, Ceres? Not Ceres, that's a Leanne. We're chilling. Look how freaking fast term is, and that's just with like the left click hitting him and the right click. The effects on this one are better. I thought they'd be kind of the same, but they're more fiery, and they're the same sort of theme. They're just less pastel colored, and I like them a lot more. I think this like recolored version of it, I don't know which one's the actual recolor. Doesn't really matter because of the way it works now with like the chests and stuff, is really, really good. Like this skin a hell of a lot more than the last one. I'm just going to try and get some self-heal here from the term. There was a double tap. Did that kind of work? I don't know if I got both charges there. There's heals on the Tyra. Another reason why you want to be hating is just because your stuff goes through people. You want to be kind of in the middle with the enemies in the opposite direction. So Pip ultimate, can we keep her up? There's 2 heals. There's a Q as well. That actually worked. We saved the Tyra there. That's Emoji ultimate actually saved the term there again. Ceres is also obviously healing a ton in this one. There goes the Tyra. Just try and stack up. It's also just kind of jank sometimes with the way it registers the ticks. There's a look at the speed buff on the Vor. She is just zooming. There we go. That's the victory. Absolutely hectic and locked in video. I don't know what else I could really say, but Moji feels very good to play as a support, even though she's very different. I'm gonna have to, get used to it. 67k there, considering again how awkwardly I played. That healing number is kind of crazy. Props to the team. I don't know what else I could really say there. The speed buff Moji setup, which is what you would really call this, because that's what it's focused on, is so good. Shouts out there to the term, by the way, and Drogo's also if he sees this a little bit later, but yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it. I could yap more, but I think I've done enough already in this one. I'll get to all the other stuff sometime soon, so definitely keep an eye on the channel. I like Moji as a support a hell of a lot. Like I said sort of in the video where I sent her off, it's a bit of a shame that we don't also have Flank Moji, and this is sort of a new Echo character, but it does work for it really, really well. And even though Flank Moji is there kind of differently, you can still get the same sort of feeling if that's what you're going for. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Definitely let me know your thoughts on it. Probably a bit of a longer video. I really do appreciate staying all the way till the end. I'll see you guys all very, very soon. And as always, stay frosty.